Welcome to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. This is a show where we talk about how to buy a house, how to save the most amount of money, how to refinance a house and save money. But the theme today is going to be how we can get into a house if you are a first-time home buyer or you want to get into a low down payment and purchase a home. So the theme today is getting into your first home. I'm committed to helping every one of you that may be renting right now get into a home by New Year's, okay? We're in November. It's not even the middle of November yet. It's time. I could still get you into a home by the end of the year. Now, why wouldn't you want to make 2022 the year that you become a homeowner? So what I did today is something very special for my listeners out there, okay? I got a special guest in the house with me today, and his name is Chase Woodburn. Chase, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again.
So Chase is my son. He's also a loan officer on my team. He's been, how long have you been a loan officer on the team?
Over a year now.
Okay, been over a year, and he's doing great. He's doing great. But I brought him on the show because he also became a homeowner.
Yes.
So, and I want you to speak up a little bit so people can hear you. All right. So, when did you become a homeowner?
I became a homeowner in June of last year.
Okay, so June of last year, you bought your first home.
Yes.
And before you bought your home, what helped you or what made you decide, first of all, to become a homeowner? Why did you decide to become a homeowner?
Well, that's a great question. So there was a couple factors that went into that. The first factor was I could not stand giving my money to my landlord every month. It was a nightmare going through that and just watching my money bleed. So that was the first thing. That was my first big reason. The second big reason was that really the writing was on the wall for the rental market. And so I knew it was going to skyrocket. And what was the most important thing to me was making sure that my monthly expenses were stabilized and in my control.
Oh, so being a renter, your monthly expenses aren't stable.
They're not stable. And you see horror stories of people's rent going up $1,000.
Yeah. And right now there's a shortage of rental properties. So what do you think landlords are doing?
Oh, they're price gouging.
They're price gouging, but they can get it, right? They can get it. So why wouldn't you get it? I mean, people are not in the business of owning real estate as a charity event.
Right.
They're in the business of making money with real estate. And you can't tell me if the profits aren't there that you're not going to charge it.
Yeah, you can't fault someone for that.
You can't fault someone. That would be like me saying, hey, look you're worth $50,000 a year, but you know what? I'd like to see you work for 25. You're not going to do it. You want to get the money that you can in your job. You want to get the money you can in your investments. And if you were investing in a 401k and you were interviewing financial planners and one said, I can get you 4.5%, and the other says, I can get you 20%, which one are you going with?
Going with the better option.
Doesn't take rocket science. So you decided you didn't want to own because you wanted to put the money in your pocket.
Right.
And then when it came down to searching what type of loan program would meet your needs, because at that point, you weren't even a loan officer. You were just becoming a loan officer. I think you were an assistant on my team.
Correct, yes.
So like your income wasn't really high.
No, it was not particular.
And I'm a little embarrassed to say that, but I'm not really that embarrassed, okay? But your income wasn't really high.
Right.
So you were entry level. You were just getting started in the business. So was that a struggle? Like, did you have some challenges on how to really balance how much house you could afford?
That was a bit of a challenge. There's no doubt about that. The good news is that there really are a lot of avenues that you can use to extract as much income that you can get as possible.
Tell me what you mean by that.
So in the program I used, we've talked about it before. It's called Home Ready with Fannie Mae. It's a 3% down program, and they have a really unique income category called border income, which is excellent if you have roommates that you're renting with.
Okay.
So what I was able to do is it goes up to a certain percentage of your income that you can essentially subsidize and stipend with the rent that another individual is paying you.
Now, but they have to pay you, and then you pay your landlord.
Correct.
They can't pay it directly to your landlord, and then you include that as border income.
Right. So there is a definite limitation on it.
How long did you have to verify that money was going into your account?
So they want 12 months of verification. The loophole for that is that if you've been doing it for 9 months, you can average it over 12 months.
Okay. All right. So that helped you to qualify for more house.
That did. Correct.
All right. And you researched and you felt that the Fannie Mae Home Ready program, 3% down, allowed you the best opportunity in your case. Now, what advantages other than using border income were there for that? And 3% down.
Right. So aside from 3%, which there is a Fannie Mae 3% down program, right. It has
a standard 3%, not the Home Ready program.
Correct. So it has the Fannie Mae program, the Home Ready, has superior mortgage insurance.
Okay.
You have mortgage insurance like someone's putting 15% down.
Okay. So your PMI is lower on that program if you fit into that category because you were a first-time home buyer. Were there income limitations on that? So there's a certain amount of income you can make to qualify for
Correct.
that. Okay. And if you exceed, I think it's what, 54?
It's 80% of your area median income. Fannie Mae has a really handy lookup tool. It varies by county to county, by borough to borough.
But generally
you're around $50,000.
Around $50,000. So all of my listeners out there that goes, I can't find a house for $50,000. There's no possible way. But I can find a house for $325,000. What other options are there? And by the way, I want to give out my phone number, and I want you to know I can connect you directly with Chase. He's an expert on low down payment first-time home buyers. 407-706-3313. Write that number down. If you have adult children, if you are a renter, if you have adult grandchildren, write down this number, 407-706-3313, or go directly to my website at webringyouhome.com. Now, if you apply online there, it's going to go to me. It's going to go to my team. If you're looking for that special program, make sure you ask for Chase. He's an expert in that field. Now, all my team's an expert in that field, but you are an expert and have actually done it.
Yeah. I've been on both sides.
So what if you may need income of, say, $80,000 to buy a $325,000 house? What other options are there?
Well, and that's the good news, is that the 3% down standard Fannie Mae program does not have an income limit. You just have to be a first-time home buyer.
Okay, one of you have to be a first-time home buyer. If there's two people on the loan, only one has to be a first-time home buyer. Okay, so that program is awesome because it's 3% down. You have a maximum debt ratio of about 50%, right? But your credit scores, they like to see nice credit scores.
They like to see, yes.
In the 700s.
Correct, yeah. They want you to be comfortably in the 700s for those programs, especially right now. And that's not even a Fannie Mae requirement as much as it is the market we're seeing with mortgage insurance.
Right.
So if that market changes in mortgage insurance, it's really not Fannie Mae that's having the flexibility issue.
No, it's the PMI
Correct.
companies. Okay, so now let's just move into another option. Let's just say, you know what, Chase, I don't have a 725 credit score. I got a 680 credit score. I got a 660 credit score. Okay, can somebody still buy at that?
Yeah, of course. So there's another program. A lot of people do it, and it was actually another program that I was looking at, and that's your standard issue FHA purchase. It's 0.5% more.
Okay.
So it's 3.5% down.
Okay.
The good thing about that is that, you know, the mortgage insurance is hard baked into it. It's a function of the loan.
Okay. So you have mortgage insurance, but you're only putting 3.5% down.
You're only putting 3% down.
And it'll allow you flexible credit scores.
Definitely.
And are the debt ratios still pretty strict at that, at 45, maybe 50?
The ratios go up to around 55. So you have almost 5% more.
So you can squeeze a little bit more out of that if you don't quite have the income. So it's more flexible on credit scores, and it's more flexible on income.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so I'm liking this because I think a lot of first-time home buyers haven't had the time or haven't established that credit to where they've got that type of experience behind them. So let's just say right now, because I'm finding houses really closer to 300, 325, but you decided last year to buy a home, and you paid how much for your house?
I paid $245,000.
How big is that house?
It's about 1,300 square feet.
How many bedroom and bathroom is it?
It's a 3-bed, 2-bath.
3-bedroom, 2-bath.
With a 2-car garage.
With a 2-car garage, and it's your own house.
It's my house.
And it's not a townhome.
Nope.
It's not a condo.
Single family.
It's a single family home. And you you back up to a green green strip of some kind.
Yeah,
right
so
there, right?
I've got a nature reserve on my left, and I've got a guy that I don't even think he knows he owns it behind me. So I've got undeveloped land.
That's
behind
crazy.
me.
And you're on a cul-de-sac.
End of a cul-de-sac.
So that's pretty cool. So and it's a great moderate income first home.
That's great.
Right? It's perfect. All right. And it suits you well. And you've got 2 roommates, or you have one now?
I have 2 roommates.
You have
right
2
now.
roommates that are helping you pay your mortgage.
Correct.
Payment. You mind if I ask you how much they're paying each?
They're paying. I split the mortgage clean in 3, so we pay $450 a month each.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's insane. Okay. Now, you paid how much for it?
$245.
And how much is it worth? Like, just out of curiosity, because it was a little over a year ago. Year and what, 5 months, 4 months?
Like yeah. So my estimates that I'm getting from the various different companies that calculate it all place it pretty squarely around $310,000.
$310,000. So let's just put this in perspective. You paid $250.
Correct.
$245. $245
with a seller concession.
And a seller. How much did the seller pay?
$5,000.
Seller paid $5,000. Okay. People go, you can't get a seller to pay anything anymore. Seller paid $5,000, bought it for $245, and it's worth $310 right now.
Yes.
So you made
$67,000
plus the $7,000. You really have to take that into consideration,
right,
because it was less money. But you made $67,000 in about 15 months.
Yeah, 15, 16 months.
Okay. All right. So now, if that doesn't encourage you to become a homeowner, I don't know what would. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm going to tell you something. There's no such thing as a rich renter. For all of you that are renting right now, I'm committed to helping you get into a home by New Year's. You can do it right now. So I want to do some numbers here real quick, and then I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper in the next segment. But let's just say we have a $325,000 house, okay? Right. And if you were to get a conventional 3% down program, you are going to have a down payment of just under $10,000, $9,750. All right. If you were FHA, it'd be $11,375. Call it $11,400. Okay. Now you'd still have to pay closing costs and prepaids on top of that.
Right.
But if we get a seller on an FHA loan to pick up $6,000 in closing costs, I just want to put this all in perspective for you. So actually $7,000. We'll get the seller to pick up $7,000 on a 325 house. You're into a house for $13,500, $13,600.
Crazy.
$13,500. Now, here's why I'm telling you guys this, because a lot of my audience, Chase, we're a little bit more mature. Okay? There are some young folks that listen to this, but my audience tends to be more mature. So you might be a parent with adult children. You might be a grandparent with adult grandchildren. If you were, matter of fact, can you give a gift for a down payment on a piece of real estate?
Yes. You can do the whole thing.
The whole thing. So if grandpa or mom and dad gave you a gift of, say, $14,000, I could get you into a $325,000 house.
I don't need a dime of your own money.
You don't need any of my own money.
Nope.
You just got to have the income to qualify. So here's what I did. I happened to put some numbers together that I thought were pretty cool. But what I need to do is come back from the next break, and we're going to go over payments. We're going to go over how to get you into that house. We'll be back in 5 minutes.